Hello, I'm Bené Dior, and welcome to another episode of Coach Pep Talk, the podcast for people who run their own coaching businesses. Each week, I talk to an expert who shares wisdom that helps us be better coaches and better coaching business owners. And this week, I've got a dear friend and awesome consultant on the line with me, Marlon Marescia, and he's going to talk to us all about exactly what you need for your sales funnel for your coaching business. So Marlon, can you just briefly introduce yourself, and then we'll get straight into the interview.
Well, hi, Bené, and thanks for having me here. I always enjoy working with you. And look, if you want to know a little bit about myself, very quickly, I used to be a sales and marketing manager. And when I was a sales and marketing manager, I was involved with generating leads and then closing leads. So I couldn't blame the salespeople for not closing and the marketing people for not giving me good leads. It was all my fault. And so I learned very quickly that, generating good quality leads and building out some sort of sales funnel to actually close them was very, very important for my business. And I had actually many years where in that role where I struggled. And towards the end of it, I really started to use online marketing and build out funnels that actually worked, which was really good for the business and good for me personally. And then I left that company. I was there for a very long time, about 12 years. And I wanted to do my own thing. And I have this passion for small business and business coaches. And I went out and I have an agency now. And that agency helps build funnels and runs Facebook ads for business coaches and small businesses around the world.
Yeah, and Marlon and I have worked together for the last year teaching, and Marlon's also been helping me with my ads and my sales funnels, and it's just been a phenomenal learning curve for me, so I can't speak highly enough of you, Marlon. So thanks again for sharing your time and your expertise with my audience. So let's get into it. Now, I know from my working with coaches, especially new coaches and some of the mentoring groups that I run, that people are a little bit confused about exactly what a sales funnel is. They kind of know they need one, but they really don't know where does it end, where does it start. So could you just kind of set the scene for us so that we know exactly what is a sales funnel? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, so look, a sales funnel is really important for business coaches and small businesses because if you don't have a sales funnel, then you don't have a process that you can improve. And really a sales funnel is a series of landing pages on your website, emails, and steps that people can take to go from being a prospect who knows nothing about you, like a cold prospect, to a warm prospect, and then to putting their hand up to say, hey, I'd like to potentially work with you. And that to me is a sales funnel. Before the sales funnel comes the lead generation, okay? So some coaches might do YouTube ads or Facebook ads or content marketing, but once they put their hand up and interact with your website or your business, that's when the sales funnel kicks in, and you've got to capture those details very quickly and then nurture them until they're ready to say, I'm ready to take action here. So to me, that's what a sales funnel is.
Awesome. Thank you for setting the scene there. So can you tell us a little bit about why coaches actually need a sales funnel? Because some, I talk to new coaches, they're like, maybe I don't need one yet, or so what are the reasons why it's actually important to have that?
Yeah, I think I find that coaches have so much to do, and a lot of times they're not coaching, right? So they're doing all these other activities, and they're actually not doing a lot of coaching because they're trying to get work. And the importance of a sales funnel is the ability to set a process, a very defined process that everyone can come through who is interested in your business, and without a doubt that if they go through these steps, then they've got the best chance to actually becoming a client. And when you have those very clear steps, then you can actually improve each step. So for example, your landing page for your ebook that you might be giving away, and we'll talk more about this, might be converting at 5%. And all of a sudden, if with some changes, you can make that 10%. And then your email, the first email in the sequence might convert at 2%, and you can get that to 5%. And all these little changes means you're actually getting more people through your funnel who are actually going to actually buy your course or actually going to opt in to speak to you so you can then have a sales conversation with them. And so I think that the first thing is that you just need a process that can be improved. The second thing, the reason why, is because so many coaches, they're always running after the next shiny object. And there's so many marketing people like me out there, Benay, who are on Facebook telling them how they can grow their business in 1 month to $60,000 a month. And I have no doubt that some people have done that. But for the average coach out there, it is a little unrealistic. But you can grow a very large business, and you can grow it in a very small time frame. For each person, that's different, but you need a process. You need a process to do it that can continually be improved. So I find that a sales funnel that is documented, that's working, that can be improved is so important to get away all the other distraction from all the marketers out there telling you what you should be doing that worked for them 3 years ago, but actually may not be working right now. So that's the other reason I think a sales funnel is so important for coaches.
Okay. Now that's great. I mean, being universal coaching systems and a systems thinker myself, I love the idea of having a system. So because systems really help you leverage your time and I guess fine tune. And I think that's one of the things that I know that I am guilty of when I first got into started getting my head around marketing, is that I thought, I'm going to build this thing and it'll take me 2 weeks, maybe it'll take me a month, and I'll get my sales funnel done and then it's done. But by working with you, I really learned that, no, give yourself 12 months. Look at the data. Look at what the numbers are telling you. Tweak little bits along the way. And then you can actually turn that into, a consistent system that consistently delivers you results. Instead of build it once, you've got half of it all like little things wrong, like a title here and the wrong lead magnet there and something silly on your landing page, which is turning people away. You can just slowly tweak those things, and then eventually, I guess get a return on your investment rather than just, sales funnels don't work.
Yeah. And it's so important. I'll tell you a little example from one of my clients, which I'm really proud of her. Her name's Fiona. And she, I've been working with her for about 9 months. And we've done this. So we have implemented a sales funnel, and we have worked on it, and we have tweaked it. And what we've actually done is we use Facebook ads to generate leads into the funnel, so new people, but we've also now using a few other tactics as well. But the only reason we've added them is because the existing one is working. But I'm really proud of her, because I remember at the beginning it was really tough for her to stay focused. She was always saying, Marlon, let's do this and that. And I'm saying, no, you hired me just to do this, so let's just keep doing it. So she got focused. She also then got really good at the process to convert someone into a client. And I've watched her grow in that. And, last month, she hit 10 sales a month. And that was her goal. That was her dream goal. And she can work from anywhere in the world now. And she's hit 10 sales a month. And now the system has worked. The system is amazing. I was just on the phone to her, and she's so excited. She's made 2 sales this month already. And in next week, she's got about 8 calls already booked in. And but Fiona has learned to be consistent and to tweak the funnel. And it's really exciting, to work with someone like her, but also to see that it works. It's not that you have to be special to make this work. You just got to be consistent.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that as a takeaway message. So, okay. So is a sales funnel just for online coaches?
Yeah, no, definitely not. And like so when you say online coaches, what do you mean? Selling an online course, or?
Well, coaches who are just like really online, they don't meet people face to face, and they don't, they've got an international client base, or versus the coach who really goes to local networking groups and meets their clients that way.
Yes. Okay. I understand. So no, I don't think it is. I have so many clients who are not coaches, who have a small service-based business, like they may do car detailing, or they may, be what's another example? A carpet cleaner. And so these companies don't have an international audience. They just have a local audience, and they all have sales funnels. You need to have a process. So whether you work locally within a 50-kilometer radius around where you live, you still need a sales funnel, because without the sales funnel, you can't really make online marketing work for you. So I understand that referrals are the best type of leads you can get, and the conversion rate is very high. So I understand that, but you can't grow your business or scale it through referral only, because you have no control over how many referrals you get a week or a month. It's always based on other people's activities. What a sales funnel does, it allows you to now have control over how many leads you get a week. And because you've optimized your sales funnel and you've made it better every single, month, then you now are getting more control over how people convert in that sales funnel. So I think if you are a more localized coach where you deal with people in your local community or even your state, you still need a sales funnel because you can't make online marketing work without it.
Can you expand on that just a little bit more? I love how you said that the sales funnel, it's really a crux of online marketing. For people who are really new to online marketing, can you explain why that's such an essential piece?
Yeah, okay. So it's important because, put it this way, if you start doing content marketing, so you write lots of blog posts as a coach and you want people to come and see your blog post and then hopefully call you, or you do lots of YouTube videos and you want people to see your video and then click and then somehow get to your website and then call you or to buy your course, or you do Facebook ads or Google ads, whatever it is. Once they get to your website or once they get to a social site of yours, you need to capture their details. You need to capture their details because if you don't, they say that 97% of people who come to your website will leave and never come back because they just can't remember who you are. And so the key is to capture their details when they hit your website or they hit your social media profile. Now, that is the beginning of the sales funnel. So the trick with the sales funnel is, okay, someone's coming to your website, to your YouTube channel. So capture their details with some sort of offer. Now that offer, that ebook, that video, that webinar is the first step in the sales funnel. Once you get those details, you then control the relationship and control the communication, and then you take them through that sales funnel systematically. So without a sales funnel, what you'll have is a whole bunch of people come to your social profiles, come to your website, and they'll just bounce off. So the average is 81 to 99% leave and never come back. I think 97% is a good one for the average business. And so yeah, like have a look at your Google Analytics if you have that, and see how many people come. It's called the bounce rate. How many enter your site and leave without taking a second action? That's the bounce rate, and that's scary. Okay. So can I just say something with you, Benet? Remember in the last month or so, we put the retargeting on your website where when someone comes to the website, then to the Life Coach Office website, they bounce off and we show them an ad on Facebook. And that ad is an ebook, right? It's the first step in your sales funnel. And in 6 weeks, you got 42 leads in that people signed up for that ebook. And it was, I think it cost you about $50. So that's the top of your sales funnel. So the people are now in your sales funnel. And that's why it's so important. If you didn't have that installed, you would have lost all of those people potentially. So a lot of them would never have come back. But now you control the relationship.
Yeah. And I can send them all these lovely resources and things that are going to help them grow their coaching business
over time.
All right. Let's see. Let's talk about sales funnels. Do you have to be a really experienced coach to have a sales funnel, or you've just started and you've just graduated and you've just started your business? Should you have a sales funnel straight away?
I think you should. I think if you're going to do blogging and content marketing and, try and get yourself out there, you need to have something to capture them, right? You need to have something that will get the contact details. Otherwise, what's happening is you're just wasting all that effort. And for example, let's just take blogging, for example. If someone is blogging, in that blog post, they should have a giveaway that if someone submits those details in the blog post, they then get put into the sales funnel. And so this sales funnel that you build, you put it everywhere. You put it on your Facebook account where you might say, hey, click this link and get this free ebook. That's straight into your sales funnel. It might be a blog. Every blog post should have a link. It should have a little offer at the bottom or in the middle that says, hey, click this and you get this extra thing. And it might be a Facebook ad, right? That someone sees on Facebook that says, hey, get this free ebook or this free webinar, free video, and bang, they're into that sales funnel. So I think, the first thing you should do is build it, because then you can start measuring and talking to people, interacting with them, seeing if the problem you solve actually is the problem they need solved, right? Mm-hmm. From day one of coaching, you should be speaking to people, and a great way is to collect their email address and phone number and maybe even give them a call for some market research. And the sales funnel allows you to do all of that.
Yeah. I love that. I'm such a believer too in co-creation and creating things with your ideal clients if possible. So many times I've seen coaches, go down rabbit holes or like just do what's in their head. And then it's like, but it's not what people are wanting.
Yeah.
It's just what you think they need, and it just never works.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk now about, okay, I'm a coach. I don't have a sales funnel yet. Marlon, you got me all pumped about getting my sales funnel done. How do I actually go and build it?
Yeah, so this has changed a lot over the years. So I think a lot of coaches have heard of ClickFunnels and Lead Pages and Unbounce, and they're all really good platforms. But the reason they were built is because there was no other way for a business person to be able to create a page on a website very easily. You'd have to be a developer. So my opinion is those programs have now become obsolete. You don't need them anymore, because if you have a WordPress website, and WordPress runs 30% of the internet, if you don't have one, don't get too upset. But if you're about to get one, you should always use WordPress. So with WordPress, you can build funnels out very easily for your marketing, for your sales funnel. And so WordPress is the first tool that I think you want to get. And there's a few add-ons like Elementor and a few others that you can put in to that WordPress website that makes building out funnels very easily. So that's kind of the most basic thing you need. A WordPress website with the ability to create pages through drag and drop. So if you can use Word, you should be able to build a page in a website. So, Benay, I did lose a bit of track there. What was the question? Did you ask about the tools?
Well, the tools is a part of it. So how do we actually build our sales funnel? Yeah. So we got to have a WordPress site. That's great. And what are we going to build on our WordPress site?
Yeah. So, okay, that's a really good question. So what you want to do is you want to have an offer. So with a sales funnel, nobody is going to sign up and get into your funnel if you don't give them something that they really care about. So you don't give them something that you think's important. You don't give them something that tells them about you. It's all about the pain point. So I always say this, when you promote on any marketing, you want to talk about one person. So talk to one person with one problem and give them one promise. And so to get someone into your sales funnel, you have to say, well, who's my ideal client and what's their biggest pain point? What's the biggest pain point that they have that I can solve, that I know with my solution, I can solve that one pain point. So that's the promise, right? Your solution. So the first step in the fast sales funnel is saying, okay, can I create some sort of freebie that I can give someone where I call out the pain point and say, hey, here's the first step to solving that pain point. It's not the whole solution, but it's a start. And you give that away for free. And so that's the first step in a sales funnel. And you put that on your website, you'll put it on Facebook ads, you'll put it on your social media, you'll put it in your Facebook groups if you have them. You can put that on once a month and say, hey guys, if you like this, then sign up for it. And now they're in your sales funnel.
Before we move on to the next step, can I just ask, I recently had this discussion in my Coach Springboard group, and there was a discussion like, do people really still download freebies? Or, there's so many freebies out there. Is it worth doing them? What's your opinion on that? Since you eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff every day.
People download like you wouldn't believe. Now, do they read it? That's the more important question. Most don't read it. But the purpose of a freebie is not to get them to read it. It's to get their contact details. So once they submit their contact details, the purpose of that freebie is done. Don't get upset if they don't read it. People don't read it. They're too busy. And most people just collect things. They go, oh, maybe one day I'll like that. I'll sign up. But if they sign up, that they are now that they're a target, a potential prospect. Yeah, because when you create the freebie, you don't create a freebie that anyone can sign up for. Create one that's very specific to the person you deal with and their particular pain point. So if you're dealing with mothers, fathers would never sign up for it. So you don't write something that a single woman who's 25 years old would sign up for. It's only something a mother with children under 10 would actually sign up for. So yeah, I think people do still sign up. For example, I was talking about Fiona. Fiona, we are getting probably 6 to 7 leads a day through a freebie. It's just an ebook.
Yeah.
And we're running it on Facebook, and 6 to 7 leads a day are coming into the funnel.
Yeah.
And so it works for her. It works for me. It works for
Works for me. I've had the same freebie actually for like 9 years, and I still get signups from it every week, every day. It's amazing.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, they think if I don't like it, then it's not going to work. And I've seen that attitude a lot, and it's been debunked so many times through testing. So remember that when I worked at the IT company for 12 years, the owner of that business, he said, pop-ups on websites, I would never put it on my website. People don't like it. It'll pull down the reputation of our company. Couldn't stand it. I said, well, why don't we just test it? So we put a pop-up on giving a free ebook, and you wouldn't believe how many people signed up. And after he saw the leads come in, he said, all right, put pop-ups on the website. He hated pop-ups. He didn't like it, but he liked the result.
You like the result. All right. So let's keep going then. So how we build our sales funnel. First, we make this really compelling offer that our people want to download. They may or may not read it, but they get really excited about downloading it, and they give us their name, email address, and their phone number. What's next?
Okay. So when they submit their details, there's actually a way that you can try and get them to take the next step straight away. It's a bit of a hack, not a hack, a trick. So what you do is, you know how someone signs up on that for that ebook or that webinar, on the thank you page, which is they submit their details and then they go to a page that normally says, hey, here's your ebook, click the link, get the ebook. What we do is we like to put a video on that page where the coach will actually teach a couple of points in the ebook through a video, and then have a call to action straight to the next step. It might be buy the course, or it might be book in a strategy call. And so that's kind of a little trick that a lot of coaches are doing who are successful, because you can get some people that are really hot, they're a hot prospect, and they're ready to take the next step. So that's the first thing. So you can see that there's a one page, which is, this is where you can get the ebook or giveaway. And the second page is, thank you for signing up. Here's some added value. And it's a video, and people watch it over 1 or 2 minutes, and then they can, submit their details. That's one little trick. But the real next step is, once you get their contact details, then you want to put them in an automated email sequence. And that automated email sequence will do a couple of things. One, it establishes credibility through teaching. So every email you send them, you teach them something new. And each thing you teach is based on a pain point. Remember I talked about the pain points before? You take a pain point and you teach something that potentially will help them solve. And then in those emails, a select few of them, you actually then ask people to take the next step. So if the next step is an appointment with you, or the next step is to buy the course, you actually have at the bottom, hey, did you like that? Or why don't you take that next step and book an appointment with me, because we can help you get these outcomes. And that really is the focal point of each one of these emails. And that could be 6 emails, it could be 29 emails, 1 a week for the next year or half a year. So that is kind of the next step in the sales funnel.
Okay, I have a couple of things I'd like to clarify around that. So awesome stuff. So in this email series, that's an automated pre-written thing that it'll just go out and start working for us. A question that I get asked a lot is, how much do you teach, and how do you decide what to teach? Like, are you kind of teaching your best stuff? Are you giving it all away? Where do you stop? Can you give any pointers or advice on that?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because a lot of people fear it. They fear, I give away my best stuff, no one will buy the course. The reality as a coach, people don't buy your information, they buy execution. So the whole idea is you give the information away for free, but people can't execute. That's why a whole coach is someone who comes alongside you, and technically they don't really teach you anything. They just say, how are we going to do this together? And then they help you do it. And I think with coaching is, and especially with me with consulting, because I do this, I don't ask any of my clients to do what I don't already do. So I have all these systems set up. And with me, I give away my best content. So for example, I just spoke over the last week in 3 different states, and I gave everything away, everything. And at the end, I had a questionnaire and said, who would you like, Marlon, to help you with some consulting or agency work or whatever? And at least half the people tick the box. They want me to call them. And so why are they ticking it? Because they need execution, not because they think they can do it themselves. And so I would always encourage you, give away your best information. If you're a coach, people want you to actually stand with them to do it. Their problem isn't information. They have information. There's so many ads with coaching and lifestyle that they can get the information. They do nothing with it. So your value is execution. And the way you build credibility is by telling them things that they go, that's an aha moment. You give them an aha moment today, and 3 days later, another aha moment, and then another aha moment where they think, wow, that makes sense. All of a sudden, you are now the most important person in their world. But you can't do that if you give your worst information away or your mediocre information. It's got to be the best. Now, what I don't do with my clients when I speak or when I do a webinar or when I do an ebook is I can't give everything away. There's only a limited time. So I give my best stuff, but even with the best stuff, they still can't do it because like you need time to do it. So when you give your best stuff away, you don't really give the best stuff away. You give the concept of the best stuff, but there's never enough time to actually do it all. Does that make sense, Benet?
Yeah. Well, and I know too that there's levels within levels. Like once you make your first funnel and then you make your second one, like you have a whole different range of questions, for the expert. So yeah, I got it. Okay. Awesome explanation. That was a real aha moment for me, that to realize that the problem isn't information. The problem is assisting with execution. I love that. So thank you. Okay, the other question I have is, you said in a couple of the automated emails, you might put in the offer, either to book a call with you or to go ahead and buy a course directly. I know you and I have spoken about this before, but there seem to be some rules of thumb about how do you know which one to choose? Should they come onto a call with me, or should I take them straight to a course sales page? And when we talked about it before, and this may have changed since we spoke about it, but you seem to have like a number value. Like if the course costs this much, then you can take them to the sales page. But if it costs this much, then they need to talk to you first. Can you talk about where people can kind of pitch that to know if they need to put their call to action as book in for a discovery conversation, or to go ahead and go straight to a sales page to buy the thing?
Yeah, so the general rule of thumb in the industry is anything over $2,000, you want to get someone on a call. It's a big commitment. Anything under $2,000, you can, if you're really good, you can sell it on a landing page or on a webinar, really. So you get them on a webinar, and then you can sell, or a video, and then after 30 minutes of watching you, you can convince someone to buy that course. I think for new coaches, it's much lower. I mean, it's a skill that you need to learn. So if you're selling something for $1,000, you might want to get them on a call until you get really good at it and you know what questions to answer. Then you can answer them in the webinar. So it's a bit of a journey, but I think that, I think selling, I think at the very beginning, at least trying to get someone on a phone call with you, it establishes so much credibility up front, especially for new coaches, that I really encourage that at the beginning. So yeah, there is a general rule of thumb, but it is case by case. Like if it's a no-brainer, if the problem is so big, and the outcome created by the course that you do is so big, it solves such a big problem. Sometimes you can just sell that straight away, on a webinar or on a sales page. But there is a bit of a case by case. But the general rule of thumb for me is try and get them on. If it's a $300 course, you cannot get them on the phone. You have to sell them. But there comes a point for you where you think, well, how much is enough for me to make a phone call, spend 20 minutes on the phone, maybe have a second call, spend more time. But definitely I can tell you that anyone selling something over 2,000, they're doing it on phone call. It's very rare to sell something over that with just a webinar and sales page.
Well, and I love how you've distinguished too that, even if you're a new coach and your first coaching program that you're offering is $1,000, that, go ahead and get on the call. I think we can feel when we're starting out that we have to go straight to systemization, straight to automation, straight to leveraging our time. But actually, we haven't connected with our ideal clients enough. We haven't road tested our material enough. Like, we can do that stuff later once we've, got a full coaching book and a reason to justify it. In the meantime, we may as well learn as much as we can and take every opportunity to connect and to grow.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know, I've got 2 clients that I set up great campaigns for them, and we got lots of leads. And they got on the phone with these clients, and both of them at different times went, Marlon, I don't want to work with these people. But they either can't afford me, or actually the problems they have aren't the problems I can solve. And they changed their niche altogether just by our first campaign or sales funnel we built, and it's only because they got on the phone. Now imagine this, if they had never got on the phone to find out what these people actually sound like, it could be 3 years later and they still haven't figured it out because they just waited, so it's a good way of speeding it up. I think for new coaches, you've got to get on the phone. I think a lot of what you teach, Benet, is all about speaking to people up front.
Yeah. When you design your signature program, like, you got to get on. I get it too, where people they design a beautiful signature program. It's amazing. And then they have that same realization. Oh my gosh, I don't want to work with these people. Or, oh my gosh, this topic doesn't really resonate with me. And then they just switch, but they can just redo the same process again. Like, once you're in momentum, you can find that out and move on, rather than 3 years down the track, flogging a dead horse because you've never reached out to connect. Okay, it's a little.
Sorry, Renee, what'd you say?
I was like, it's a bit of a side topic, but wrap it up. What were you going to ask?
I'll just say one thing. Actually, I've just forgotten what that thing was.
Perfect. All right. Well, I think we've talked about the key pieces of the sales funnel. So we've got an amazing offer that's a freebie. And really the thing is, hopefully they'll read it and get some advantage of it. But really we want them to go to our landing page and give us their details. So that's the second piece, so that they're in our email series. The third piece is to send them to a thank you page after they've opted in, with a video and possibly another offer. And then the fourth is the automated email sequence that, teaches, educates, shows them, how talented and amazing we are at helping them with their execution, and then having a really great call to action, and hopefully they take that next step. Is there anything else you want to throw in there before we move on?
I'll just say the last stage is where you have that call to action. So what is it? Is it a page that you send people through? Remember the email sequence, you send them to a sales page. So you build that sales page. And it has to convince and convert someone into a client. Or for the people selling on phone, then it might be a calendar page where you send them to that page, and Calendly is a great app that you can use. It's quite inexpensive, and it enables people to book an appointment into your calendar directly. And so you don't have to speak to them at all. And the first time you'll speak to them is when you call them at the time that they've chosen. So I do that. And so I get, appointments every week in my calendar. It just pops up and I say, oh, there's a guy called John, and I'm going to speak to him in 2 days' time. And I call him and I say, hi, John, how you going? And he says, hi, Marlon. And I'm like, I don't know who this person is, but he's seen my emails. He's downloaded an ebook, and now he is, booking in a call.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so with the 5 pieces of the sales funnel, let's see. If a new coach is building their sales funnel, how long does it take? What technology do they need? And what are kind of the costs associated with it if you're going to do it yourself?
If you're going to do it yourself, the costs, you need like a WordPress website, and you can use what is it? Wix. And there's a few others. What is the Square one? Squarespace. Squarespace, but they have limitations. So Wix and Squarespace have limitations, and Weebly, that I would advise you, if you can, to use WordPress. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck later. So technology, there's not a lot. There's a website. There's Calendly. I mentioned that. There's maybe Zapier. Zapier is a tool that helps you integrate different apps together, like Calendly with your Facebook ads, or Calendly with your email marketing system. MailChimp you can use for your email marketing. And that's about all. There's only like 3 or 4 pieces of software that you need to use to actually build out a funnel. Can you build it yourself as a new coach? You can, but you'll get very frustrated. It's very frustrating, and there's a lot to learn. And but you can do it, and there's lots of videos online, but there's always something that doesn't explain. And so that's the saddest thing that I see, because I think that building out a sales funnel, once you know how to do it, it's actually quite easy. I do it every day now for myself, not just for my clients. I'll have an idea and I say, I'm going to run this ad, and then I'll create the whole sales funnel, and it'll only take me sometimes 2 to 4 hours. And I'm not saying, and I think most coaches could do this, but the problem is it's taken me a long time to figure that out. There's a lot of assumed knowledge there. Yeah. So you can do it yourself. There's lots of good tutorials online, but it can be frustrating. It's technology, right? Technology is frustrating.
Well, and we have an awesome online course that shows people exactly how to build it out if they want to have help with the execution.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious that you mentioned MailChimp instead of, and you didn't mention ActiveCampaign as the email marketing system to
Yeah.
deliver your emails.
So the reason I mentioned MailChimp is because it's good for beginners, not beginners, people who don't have who want to save money. I use ActiveCampaign, and I think it's the best platform out there. And actually, I thought I mentioned MailChimp and ActiveCampaign, so you picked me up on that. I always mention both together. So ActiveCampaign, just a quick summary. A lot of coaches would have heard of MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, and Infusionsoft. So I don't use Infusionsoft. I think they are the best of the best, but they're unaffordable for coaches. Most coaches can't afford it. And actually, ActiveCampaign has a feature set that you need and that you'll actually use. Infusionsoft has a feature set that you won't use. It's just too much for you. So that's why I recommend ActiveCampaign for coaches. Now, if your budget is restrictive, then use MailChimp. It'll get you most of the way there. And then, as you grow, you can then move to ActiveCampaign.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And what kind of costs are we looking at to actually be able to have a sales funnel running for your coaching business?
Yeah, so look, if you look at a WordPress website, the cost of that, depending on who you go with, it could be anywhere from, $15 a month to $100 a month, depending on the features. But, if you do it yourself, if it went to DIY mode, then, it might be $10 or $15 a month if you're hosting it yourself. Calendly is like, I think about $10 or $12 a month. A MailChimp starts for free for 2,000 users. And then Zapier is the only one that you probably don't need, actually, when you're first starting out. If you're running Facebook ads then you probably need it, but that's $20 a month. So 20 plus 12 is 32, plus 15, say, for your website. You're looking at about $50 a month to start out with. Yeah. So that's a lot cheaper than ClickFunnels, which is $99 a month. And the functionality is it's much harder to use. It's confusing. And it doesn't give you much more. It actually isn't a website solution. What I love about WordPress is you can have your website and your funnels all in one system, and it's one technology, it's one process. ClickFunnels, you still have to have your website, and then you're going to have ClickFunnels, and they're two totally different things, and you've got double trouble now. Yeah. So, of course, they say you can build your website on ClickFunnels, but it's very cumbersome.
Yeah, no, WordPress is just the way to go. I'm totally sold. That was before I met you. Okay, we need to move on. Let's just see. What if a coach doesn't have their niche yet, and they haven't narrowed in. They're kind of like, oh, I help everyone be happy, or I'm a life coach. Can they have a sales funnel? Should they have a sales funnel?
Well, they should, but they also need to get clarity around who they're helping. So I don't really care about a niche. Okay, so whether you deal with doctors or whether you deal with fitness people, at this point when we're talking about a sales funnel, I think as a broader scheme it's important, but with the sales funnel, what you really need to understand is what is the pain point you're solving and who are you solving it for. So for example, you could say, look, I am a marketing person, or I'm a business coach to lawyers, okay? And that's nice. But really, that doesn't help you at all sell to a lawyer. You have to understand what's their pain point. So what is the pain point a lawyer has? Well, a lawyer's pain point is they work way too hard and they get paid very well for it, but they're always, doing work. Getting leads for a lawyer is really tough, if you don't have referrals. So you might become the coach that helps them get leads and grow their business. Or you might be the coach that helps them work less and live more with all that cash that they're storing up. So, but see, that's really important.
They're very different stories, and you'd need a very different funnel depending on which way you're.
Different coach, isn't it?
Yeah.
A coach with how to work less and have more fun with the money they have is a totally different coach to the guy like me who's like, okay, I'll help you grow your business. And so even having a niche, like saying I work with lawyers, irrelevant. What is important is who do you help? What's the problem that they need solved, and how are you going to solve it? So how is your program going to solve that one pain point for that one person? And I think that's the more important question. And sometimes for people, that is across industries, across niches, especially with coaches and life coaches. Like, if you're a lawyer or a doctor, you got the same problem when it comes to more time, having more fun, being more relaxed. And so I think a better question is, what is the pain point. And when I work with my clients, the first thing I ever do, I say, who's the person, what's their pain point, and what's your offer? And we answer that question, and the rest of it's easy. We get that wrong, Danae, nothing works. Nothing works. I know how to build a Facebook ads campaign. I've had failures because we didn't know who the person was and what the pain point is. And when you get that wrong, nothing works. Doesn't matter how good you are at marketing. Sorry, it doesn't matter how good you are at setting up campaigns and landing pages, nothing will work. But when you get that right, everything just flows. Like Fiona, we've just launched this new campaign and the leads are just flowing in because we've spent a lot of time figuring out person, pain point, and we changed the messaging so much. And now we turn this new one on and it was like a breath of fresh air for me because it just worked. And can I just say one more thing? That campaign we just started that's giving 6 or 7 leads a day, we ran that campaign about 4 months ago and turned it off. And because it worked so well, I just turned it on again. Leads just came in because we've got the right person with the right pain point and the right offer. The offer is this amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, if I remember correctly, you said that you guys have been optimizing that and fine tuning it for 9 months.
Yeah. So we're working together for 9 months and we've got all these different campaigns and this was the most successful one. We've been testing some others out which weren't as successful. So we went back to this one and the leads just came in again.
Go ahead.
I'll just say one thing. Once you learn how to build a sales funnel, you can build them over and over again. And actually in your business, you need more than one. So you might have one because you might deal with 3 different types of people, right, in your business or 3 different problems. And so you'd have a sales funnel for each problem. But once you build that first one out and it works, you can do it like in a day, set up the next one. And then it's a skill that keeps giving back for small business owners and business coaches.
Yeah. That's awesome. Excellent. Okay. So let's see. I think we'll just do 2 more questions. So what I hear a lot from coaches is, I just want to coach. I hate marketing. And they'll either just want to completely outsource it to someone and not be involved, or they'll just kind of ignore it and hide from it and hope it'll go away. What advice would you like to give to those coaches out there?
Okay, so my advice is this. If you ignore it, you're the one that's going to go away. So your business can't sustain itself unless you've got all these referrals coming in. You have to run it. Running a business is tough. And if you can get the marketing component right, you can have an opportunity to grow a really successful business. But without that, you just can't. Now, some of you may have referrals and that's fine. You don't need it. But I don't know a lot of businesses that can just grow on referrals. So ignoring it is the worst thing you can do. Doing something, doing one thing and getting better at it, and not doing everything, but just doing one thing and trying to systematically get better at it, that's a really good approach. And that's what I would recommend, but do something, okay? Don't do nothing. And what was the second part of the question?
So the other part was, what about, I hear it a lot, I just want someone to do it for me.
Yes.
But it's kind of over there.
Yeah, that's another good question. So my answer to that is you just can't do that. You can't. So this is an agency owner who I get work and I do this for people, right? People come to me and say, Marlon, just do it for me. I don't want to do it. So you do it and they pay me and I do it every day. But I say to them, I've got a client that I'm not sure if I'm going to work with because I don't think he's committed. And so I won't work with someone who's not committed to me to help create the content, to help let me understand the pain points of the clients. I have to get that from the coach. And so you can't just give it to someone and expect them to do all the hard work. They'll do a rotten job, even if they're the best marketers. I know that if I had to sell, I've got a guy that wants to sell, he sells swimwear, okay? If he just gave it to me and I just did what I wanted, I probably wouldn't have that great a result because I don't understand swimwear. But together, him and we can make an amazing campaign. But I need him. So it's work. When you work with an agency, if they want to do it in a black box, don't hire them. But if they say to you, we're going to work with you and it's going to be tough and, there's lots of stuff you have to do, then that's the kind of relationship you need. So either way, you're going to be working. Now, can you do it yourself? Of course you can do it yourself. You can learn these skills. I always say to people that learning the skill is the tough bit. Doing it is actually quite easy. But learning the skill is where most people fall over. But if someone just says, do this, 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 and this, once you've done it once, you can do it 1,000 times. And the problem with building a funnel isn't that it's hard to do. It's actually quite easy to do. But knowing what to do and the steps to take is the really tough bit. And that's where most people fall over. So if you have someone that shows you, then you can do it. You don't have to pay an agency like me, lots of money. But most coaches, it's just too much for a single coach working by themselves. Like a large business, they're happy with that. So I hope that answers the question. I think I've answered a couple of questions there.
Yeah. No, I think it does. And I wrote a blog post on this maybe 2 years ago now, but it's just like, who's the best person to do your marketing? And I really believe it's you, it's the business owner, because you know your ideal client, you know your business. And I think we can think, oh, but I don't know marketing, I can't do it, I'm going to do a crappy job. Like, get over yourself. You know what you're doing, like own it. And stand and be the advocate for your ideal clients and tell your marketing people, how to, the message, because you know it, they don't. And so I feel really strongly about that. And I know that when I decided to stand in that power as a coach myself, my marketing, my messaging changed. I became the leader in my business rather than just, oh, I don't know what to do. Can you just help me? Make my business work. Like, no, that's not what a business owner does. So yeah, so that's my take on it. All right. And I think this would be a really good time to mention that Marlon and I have put together a fabulous course, a self-study course on how to build your sales funnel, where you've got all the steps, you've got Marlon guiding you through it. And that is going to be available on the Universal Coaching website very soon, hopefully in time for this release. So I hope you check that out if you like what Marlon has to say and you love this kind of philosophy and approach. If people want to learn more about you, where is the best place to go?
Yeah, so they can go to salesdriven.co, so it's CO, and there's a lot of resources on there, and there's a resources page where there's lots of ebooks and webinars, and you'll see that when you sign up, you'll go into my funnel and you'll get emails and all of that. So so that's probably the easiest way. And then you can email me as well if you have any questions.
Yeah, excellent. All right. Well, that was just an epic episode, Marlon. So thank you so much for today. I hope everybody has enjoyed learning all about sales funnel just as much as we have bringing it to you. Have a fabulous rest of your day, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks, Marlon.
Bye.
Happy coaching.